Hi, in this short video today we're going to talk about Quota, du, and df commands on Linux. So Quota basically is used to display the quota limit for that user. In other words, how much space are you given by the administrator? So we'll look at that command. It gets displayed in a better format if you use -s. And we'll look at df, and then again the size is indicated in better format. It uses larger numbers if we use -h for human readable format, so we'll see that. And then finally we'll look at du in human readable format again. So let's take a look. All right, so I'm logged into my Linux server, the Matrix server, and if I say Quota, it's going to show me what my file system is. So I'm inside the home directory. Under the root, it tells you how many blocks of data I'm using and what the quota is, how much space I'm allocated by the administrator. Also shows me how many files I have. Actually, this is more like how many inodes I have. So it'll pertain to all the files plus directories plus any links I might have. So I currently have 3308 inodes. You should know about inodes from one of the previous lectures. And then this is how much quota I'm allowed, how much is the maximum number of inodes I can have as set by the administrator. Now, a better way to display the same information would be to use a -s with this, because what that does is it just takes this data and gives it in a language that you can understand. So it's giving you in megabytes as opposed to how many blocks of data. So it's a little easier to read. Similarly, the space that's allocated is given in megabytes and so on. The next command is df, which stands for disk free. So this will give you a report of the disk space usage. So let's take a look. Just going to scroll up here. So with df, it's giving you things like, let's look at one of these, for example. So it tells you which file system you're on. So in this case, under the root, it's the dev and one of the hard drives. So then it tells you in 1K blocks, which is not very useful, in 1K blocks out of this, how much is used and how much is available. So again, if we look at this one, out of total of this space, we're using so much and this is available. So we're using 32%. So as you can see, it's a little hard to read, and therefore a better way to display things would be to say df with -h, which stands for human readable format. And that's going to give you in megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. So it's a little easier to read. So let's look at the same one here again. So you can see instead of giving 1K blocks, it's saying it's so many meg of total space, out of which so much is used, so much is free. So I'm using 32% over there. So it's a little easier to read. If you look at my home directory, I've got 2 terabytes, large amount of space. I'm using only 237 gigs and 1.8 terabytes is still left over for me. So I'm using 12%. So that's what the df -h is showing, the disk free usage report. Then the last command is du, which stands for disk usage, and we're just going to do -h, so it gives us in human readable format. And this actually will give you information regarding whichever directory you're in. So I'm just going to go into a directory called .mozilla, which is in my home directory, so that I'm only seeing a little bit, not a huge amount of information. So du for disk usage, -h for human readable. And then what it's doing, as you notice, is all of this information is in kilobytes or megs or gigs, and it tells you for every single directory, it's telling you how much space it's using. And the very bottom one here with the dot is saying that for the current directory which I'm in, which is .mozilla, it's taking up 16 meg of total space. So it's useful when you want to determine So du-h is the command that I used. So for every directory, you can see the size. So this gets to be a useful command if you want to find out if there's any very large directories that you may want to take a look at, if you're running out of space, etc. And you can also narrow it down to a very specific directory. So I'm just, for example, going to look at one of my directories called links. So maybe I just want to do a du-h for the directory called links. So that way, instead of getting for everything, I can narrow down the information to one particular directory. So now it's telling me that all the subdirectories that I have inside links are, what the sizes are. So I have some blank ones, so the size is 0. I have some data in some of those, so that it's giving me the size information for that. So useful information. All right, well, that's pretty well it for this short video. We looked at Quota, du, and df. Those are the commands which allow you to look at the usage of what is the amount of space you have, how much you're using, and how much you still have left. That's it for now. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.